Alright, so anyway, we went to Hollywood Studios. And Hollywood Studios was a blast. Now, pretty much this is just Star Wars land. It's not even Disney World anymore. It's pretty much it's movie world, I guess. Because our first thing we did that morning was went to go see the Indiana Jones show. So I'm sitting here thinking I'm gonna watch a reenactment of the movie. It's gonna be kind of cheesy. It's gonna be kind of but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good quality cheese, if that makes any sense at all. We're talking, as soon as the show finally starts, we're all sitting, we're waiting, I'm trying to take Snapchats of everything, and I'm waiting for like an actor to come through one of the side doors, because they show the scene where like he does the switch out in Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think? Yes. And I guess I was just waiting for him to come through one of the side doors and go through like all the craziness. No. This guy fucking falls through the ceiling! Like, I'm sure this makes sense to some of you who have seen the Indiana Jones show and know exactly where I'm going with this, but your first time seeing a man fall through a freaking ceiling is the most heart attack inducing moment that you will ever have in your entire life, because he had no harnesses. This is a legit man dangling from a ceiling on a rope. Well, then he's going through all like the stuff and he's doing like dodging the traps. I can't word anymore, I'm sorry. He's dodging the traps, he's going through everything, he gets to the treasure and he does the swap out, and the boulder comes rolling out, if you guys know the part I'm talking about. So some of you, the pieces are coming into place. Well, he doesn't dodge the boulder, he actually gets run over by it, so all of us in the audience are like, wait, that's not how the movie went. And then everybody else cut, so we're all in our heads going, what the heck is going on? It turns out the whole show is actually based on stunt double work in the Indiana Jones movies, and they go through every little thing. Like they do the market scene in hand-to-hand combat, they do the scene in the desert going through demolition stuff, and they talk about like what stunt doubles do and the acting and stuff like that. And the people who were actually working it were legitimate stunt doubles from the movie, so that was already like a mind-blowing experience. Star Tours. Star Tours was the second one. If you've been on Star Tours before, you have to realize, as somebody who grew up her entire life watching the Star Wars movies because my parents showed it to my brothers because my brothers thought it was really cool. Well, I'm also interested. Being where I'm from, girls don't really express interest in nerdy things and Star Wars and stuff, so I kept my nerddom to myself, even though internally I'm like, yeah, kick his ass, Annie, kick his ass. Star Tours is basically you're flying through the galaxy with C-3PO and R2-D2, and it's not like, if you guys remember those mall rides of the little boxes that would move around and work you through like a simulation, that's basically what it is. But on like an extreme level, like every time we actually made contact with an enemy ship or we were dodging battles and dodging tauntauns, you felt the shake of everything, like every impact you felt, every like change in atmosphere you felt, descending, you felt everything. And my geeky ass little heart, who never had this kind of an experience before, is like almost in the point of tears, just grabbing her seat going, oh my god, this is great! And as soon as we're freaking out of the ride, it goes right into the souvenir shop, because in any amusement park fashion, it has to empty out into the souvenir shop because people are already like starstruck. Had this great conversation with one of the girls who worked there, and I wish I had gotten her name, but all their badges were written in Tatooine. So that was pretty cool. But we had like a huge discussion about nerd stuff, and that had my confidence roaring. Then we had a guy who also worked there joining in the conversation. We went to the book universe, we went to the cinematic universe. It was insane. And they even had like a Star Wars gallery where some of like the book universe people, I can't remember her name, so please forgive me, but there's a demolition expert in the books who has this penchant for painting. And she's part of the rebellion, but her helmet she painted herself, and they actually had her helmet there. And she's like one of my favorite Star Wars characters. And I wish I could remember her name right now so I don't embarrass myself in front of millions of people who may or may not watch this in the future. And hopefully maybe this will just stay at 10 views like average, and they'll never get noticed ever. Then we actually, when we were leaving the gallery and heading to the Sci-Fi Theater Drive-In for dinner, because their Sci-Fi Drive-In is literally a little restaurant where you sit in cars and watch sci-fi previews from back in the 50s. And it was super cute, super fun. It was great for me and Chris because, once again, I'm going to reference Beauty and the Beast here. After watching the TV show Once Upon a Time, hashtag not sponsored, hashtag still hate the show. When I was into the show, though, I was really into Belle and Rumpelstiltskin's story because it was a retelling of one of my favorite fairy tales, and I think they did it beautifully because I saw a lot of myself in this new Belle, and I saw a lot of my husband in Rumpelstiltskin. So seeing this combination together, of course, makes my giddy little heart just go blah! So we adopted burger dates. So going somewhere like the Sci-Fi Drive-In and getting to have cheeseburgers together side by side in a drive-in and having a little burger date. It was, once again, my Beauty and the Beast fangirl heart was content. After we did that, though, we went to go... Oh no, I'm sorry, I was talking about a situation that happened before dinner. Forgive me. As we're on our way to dinner, we meet a gentleman who we were sitting there and we're trying to recognize him. He's got a really bad blonde wig. He's got like a safety vest on. He's got like a janitor's uniform. His name tags and tattooing. He totally works for the park. And we're sitting there and we're like, isn't he from that Saturday Night Live skit that Adam Driver did as Kylo Ren doing Undercover Boss? And so as soon as we figured out, we're kind of slowly following this guy already. And we're fighting about what his name is and we couldn't remember it. And then out of nowhere, it hits me. I'm like, his name is Matt! And he turns around and he's like, hi, I'm Matt. And so I'm already full geek mode. Like, I'm full face covered and just like dying inside. And Chris is ready to go into full banter. We're talking, he goes into the full skit, goes even to the whole, I saw Kylo Ren in the shower once. It's got a deep. I've seen it. He's ripped. Oh, Chris decides to play back at him and he's like, I've heard your boss is kind of a jerk. And Matt starts gritting his teeth and he looks very angry and very unhappy with Christian. And then Chris is like, yeah. I think he's kind of I've heard he's a bit of a jackass. Without skipping a beat, Matt goes up into Force hand and like force chokes Christian, but it was hilarious because it's the full skit. It was hilarious. He was a great guy. We got photos. It was so much fun. And then after dinner, we actually went to go meet Kylo Ren. And we're goofing off. Like, we're not even taking anything seriously anymore. And Chris is like, I'm gonna call him Ben. I'm gonna push his buttons. We're gonna call him Ben. And we're chatting it up with the assistants who are standing there, like, helping people in to take photos. And we're cracking up, and we of course made a few dark jokes, like how he has daddy problems, and how I may have put a few holes in that relationship. Like one right there. Spoiler alert. Well, as we're talking to them, we're joking, and they're laughing too. We're all cutting up. Kylo Ren comes like sneaking around the corner, and he's like overlooming one of the guys, and the guy's like laughing with us, and me and Chris both freeze, and we're both like holding ourselves, like looking up at Kylo Ren. The guy turns around slightly and he goes, I think he's ready for you now. The Beauty and the Beast stage show. I keep forgetting about that. I don't know why I keep forgetting about that. We ended up doing that instead of Tower of Terror because we thought the Tower of Terror shut down because I read an article that it shut down January 2nd, but it turns out it was still open. But I don't feel bad. I'm so glad I went to go see Beauty and the Beast, the stage show, because it was professional dancers, professional style actors, and I don't know, I was super starstruck. It was Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure it was a big cheese wad to all the parents in there because Lumiere, Codsworth, Mrs. Potts, the whole 9 yards were giant felt bodysuits. But I was just mesmerized by the other characters that weren't giant felt characters that were like in gorgeous gowns and doing fantastic ballet dance numbers and chorus lines and doing all these amazing things. It was easy for me to forget the felt characters because they didn't even show up that much anyway. But had a blast at that. I was just literally like hard eyes the entire show. I was just in hog heaven. I don't think I even left. I literally stayed geek mode the entire time while I was at Disney. My face never left from a smile. There was never a bad moment I had at Hollywood Studios.